Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. My name is Don Daniel, founder of Pill Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And today we're going to be talking about, hold on for just a second. I'm hearing myself, and I think I know what is, I don't think I know what it is. Mm, Let's see here. I'm, I am live somewhere. It's not there. It's not there. What is going on here? I can't find it. I'm hearing, I've got an echo. And shoot, and I gotta get rid of it. All right, what's going on here? Uh, okay, it must be. Right. I got some technical difficulties here, folks. I'm gonna get it straightened out, but bear with me while I get that done. Oh, here it is. Found it. Found it. Doggone it. Sorry about that, folks. Man, oh man. All right, I found the problem. Okay. There we are. Okay, so let's go ahead and get everything started this morning. I see we have some people here in Clubhouse. I see we have some people online waiting to get this information. And if you want to know more about this, if you're in Clubhouse and you want to come to the stage and talk about it, maybe you have student loans, maybe you've got a mortgage, maybe you've got other debt, you want to get it paid off in 7 years or less. Listen, that is the average, and if you want to see the examples that we're going to be putting on the screen, you want to go to, let me open this up. All right, we need to go to, all right, good morning, Michelle. Good morning. There we go. And we put that in there. I'm putting the link to our YouTube channel in the chat on Clubhouse. So if you guys want to see these examples, you can. All right. And we're going to bring this up. All right. And all right, let me pull. All right, we're gonna pull up our slideshow today. All right, and pull this over here. And there we go. We got that. All right. All right, let me see what happens if I pull this over here. Okay. And close this out. All right, folks. We've just about got everything set up. I'm sorry I had some technical difficulties this morning, and that's why we're just a little bit behind, but we've got some good information for you. So let me go ahead and get this set up so you can see the screen. All right, add our extra camera. There we go. And share our screen. All right. And which screen do we need to share here? We need to share screen 2. There we go. That's what we need to do. And pull this over here. All right. And the entire screen and screen 2. There it is. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're getting started now. All right. So go over to YouTube so that you can see what's going on. All right. And then, if you're here in Clubhouse, you can, if you can't watch what we're doing, please watch the replay a little bit later. Okay. But here I'm putting this on the screen now. There we go. And adding that. And we're going to add this to the stage. There we go. And add our other camera. And there we are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, how to pay off mortgages in about 7 years. But we're including student loans in this. So what you want to be able to do is make sure you understand the difference between interest cost and interest rate. Okay, because that's what causes long-term debt. Let me ask you a question. If all of your debt was 0% interest, if all of your debt was 0% interest, would there be any reason or any financial benefit to paying those loans off early? If all your loans were 0%. Okay. So if there's no benefit to paying a loan off early at 0%, then why is everybody focused on paying off the loan faster? Because it's the interest that's causing the problem. We should be looking at how to pay the loan off cheaper, not faster. All right. So let's take a look and see what's going on with these loans. Okay. So let me just put on the screen here that we're going to be focused on where to get your information at ice10k.com. All right. ice10k.com and pillmethod.com. That's where you can get your information. And so let's jump into it. 90%, 90% of the people you know, 90% of the people you know with a mortgage will never own their home free and clear. Why are we in a system that says that we will never pay off the home? Okay, I see Armin is here. How much discretionary income is required to prepay principal in the early years to pay off loans in 7 years? That is up to the individual client. Okay. And it's not. So what we're saying is that 7 to 9 years is an average. Some actually do it faster, Armin. Okay. Some take longer. Some actually take 9 years to do it. Some take 10 years. But the average is 7 to 9. And it all depends on how much you're making and how much you're spending. There's no magic to this, ladies and gentlemen. It's just math. And so what we do is we take the person's financial situation and say, okay, this is your situation. Here's your income. Here are your bills. And this is what we can do with that information. Okay. So let me give you some examples here. Okay. So let me see. Indentured Rebel says, great question. And I'm more interested in hearing about the fact that most mortgages are fraud and promise to pay it's back by funds we're unknowingly already paid for. Okay. Well, listen, um, here's what we're going to do about that kind of information. Right now, it is legal to get a mortgage the way we're doing it now. It is legal to do it that way. It may not be moral, but it is legal. What we don't know is the math behind how a mortgage works. So, Indentured Rebel, if you could get a mortgage and get it at 75% off, would that be okay? If you could pay 75% less interest than the bank is looking for, because now you know the rules of how a mortgage actually works, would that be helpful? Yes or no? So you can put that in the chat as well. Okay? Excellent. So here's what we're talking about, folks. We're going to show you how a mortgage works. But even before then, let me put up some examples of what we were able to do in the past. Okay. So here we go. We want to put this up and give you some real life examples. Here's a commercial loan. All right. Here's an analysis. Here's one. Here's one. There we go. So we're going to put up five. We're going to put up five. Open these and put up five examples. All right, for now. Okay. So here is. Let me move this over here so I can see what's going on. All right, and we're going to turn this off. There we are. And we are going to share this screen. There we are. All right. Add this back in. Okay, here we go. Here is a mortgage. Here's a mortgage of $237,000. $237,000. Okay. And with this particular family's financial makeup, in 14 months, they paid this, they paid this loan down by $3,844. But it cost them $10,069.62 to actually do that. All right. In 60 months, in the first 5 years, here's what the bank is looking for. $17,000 that they paid down on their loans, almost $18,000, $17,946 and change. That's what they're going to be able to do if they do it the bank's way. But it'll cost $41,000 in interest. That is too much to pay. Don't you agree that $41,683.51 is too much interest to pay down the loan by $17,000? Okay. Now, I also need you to see that right now they've paid up to $10,000 in interest in the first 14 months. The bank wants them to pay $41,000 in interest in the first 60 months. With the P.I.L.L method, instead of paying the bank $161,892 in interest to pay off a $237,000 loan in 28.8 years, how about we cut that down to about $70,000 to pay off the $237,000 in about 10 years? Would that be better? Would that be better? What about this particular client who came in, all right, and said this is a brand new mortgage of $156,500. The interest rate at the time was 4% when we did this. Interest rate was 4%, brand new mortgage, and wanted to know what they could do to handle this mortgage better. Well, in the first 5 years, if they did exactly what the bank wanted, in the first 5 years, they would have paid it down by $14,949.52. But look at this. It would have cost $29,879 in interest. So all the money they would put forth in the first 5 years paid out $44,829. $44,829. And out of that, only $14,949.52 would be used to pay down the loan. Now that is a problem that can be solved if we know how to play the game. Okay. So instead of, I need you to see this. I need you to focus in on this $29,000. Okay. Here is what the pill method is going to do for this client. When the bank wanted $29,000 in the first 5 years, this client is only going to pay out $28,000 to manage the $156,000 and pay it off in 6.7 years. That's how they're going to do it. You see, there is no magic number. There's no magic day. There's no magic amount. What it is, what's happening here is each family, each business has its own financial structure. And what we do is that we use the current financial structure and say, based on what's going on here, this is what you can do in the next 6.7 years. This is what you can do. Now, their neighbor may have an identical house with an identical mortgage, but their financial makeup is different. So it will take them 8 years to pay off the loan. It may take them 9 years to pay off all of their debt because of how their financial makeup is, depending on how much they make. Because here's what's happening, folks. You can only use the money that's left over after paying all of the bills. So if you have so much money coming in and so much money going out, and you have $200 left over after paying your bills, would you be able to do the same thing as a person who had $2,000 left over after paying the bills? Okay. Is what is the financial makeup? All right. So let's just say your financial makeup is, here's your income. Okay. And we're going to break it down into 4 steps. Here's your income. And after your income, what is the first thing we do? Okay. We have money coming out for long-term savings. Okay. So you got money coming out of your income for long-term savings. Then what is the next thing you do? All right. You have money going to pay, you have money coming out just to pay the minimum payments on the debt. Okay. Money coming in, money going out for long-term savings. You have to pay at least the minimum payments on the debt. All right. And then what's next? We've got to have some fun, don't we? Don't we have to have some fun? Okay. No, it's not. It's not as simple as a budget. It's not that simple at all. Okay. Most people that I talk to in Indentured Rebel have no idea how much they're making and how much they're spending. They have no idea. Even accountants don't know how much money they make. They don't know how much money they make. They don't know how much money they're spending. So once you break that down, okay, once you break it down to, we're going to have some fun with the family. All right. We're going to put that into the budget. We're going to put money away for long-term savings. Then the next thing that we do is make sure we pay minimums on the debt. And then how much money do you have left over after doing that? Some people tell me they don't have anything left over because they're not tracking it. But now I know how much money is left over. So they could have $100 left over. They could have $200 left over. They could have $2,000 left over. With that, I can't use any of the money that they're spending already every month. I can't do anything about that. But the money that's left over, we can set up a plan to prepay principal to kill interest with that money. So the person on 123 Main Street has $2,000 left over, and their neighbor at 125 Main Street has $500 left over after paying the bills. They're going to have 2 different outcomes. Does that make sense to everybody? I sure hope it does. Okay, there you go. Now, that's what we mean by financial makeup. What is going on with these things? So let's get into now how all of this breaks down and what are the basics of pill method. prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity. We're going to break those down so it makes sense on what is actually happening to get rid of the debt. Okay, so let's get this off the screen. All right, we're going to move that and put this back on. There we go. And we're going to put in, let me see here. We're going to put in something new. Let me see here. We're going to put this back on. There we go. And move this screen over to here. There we go. All right. So we're going to bring this back on the stage. There we go. All right. Let's start it back up. Okay, 90% of the people you know will never pay off their debt. Never. Why are we in a system where 90% of people will never pay off a mortgage? Okay? So, once we take a look at that, let's get into how it all breaks down. You will be able to pay off all of your debt cheaper and faster without refinancing, without change to your budget, because we're going to use your current budget and figure out what we can do, and without sacrificing lifestyle. I want to live well while I'm getting out of debt. I don't want a system that says you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything, you got to drive a 30-year-old car, you have to eat beans and rice 7 days a week, you got to cut up your credit cards, and basically live like a pauper. Why do we have to live like that just to get out of debt? When the interest is the problem, let's come up with a system that handles that. You will also not get this information from your accountant, from your financial planner, or your banker. It's not going to happen. They don't know it. Okay. Most people have no idea how a loan actually works. In fact, everybody here, whether you're on Clubhouse or watching me online, have you ever had a class on how the bank actually makes that money through interest charges? And have you learned how to defeat their system? How about that? Okay. All right. So Indentured Rebel says the reason why people don't pay, one reason is the APR is confused when actually a consumer should be more concerned with tip. Okay. All right. Yeah. How much is the total interest cost of their loan? You're right. Most people should be concerned about what is the total cost of the loan. And if you know what the total cost of the loan is going to be, then you could probably do something about it. Okay. All right. So Armin is coming back with, I'm asking, in the case of discretionary income goes down after starting P.I.L.L initial estimates, doesn't the sum of the payments have to equal the original principal amount payment of pay off the loan? Um, Armin, I'm not understanding your question. Okay. I'm asking, in the case where discretionary income goes down. Oh, well, if your discretionary income goes down because you're either spending more money or you're making less money, then your results will actually change. You're right. It'll take longer to get out of debt if your discretionary goes down because you don't have as much money. That's just math. All right. That's just math. So if somebody says, Don, we have once we start this program, we have $2,000. We have $2,000 in discretionary. Now we now just bought a new car, and now that car is taking another $700 chunk out of our budget. Now we have, instead of $2,000 left over, we have $1,300 left over to work with. I hope that makes sense, Armin, because if you have less money, obviously you have less money to put on principal at a later date. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So if you have more questions, jump in there with your questions and we'll get your questions handled. Thank you very much for your questions. And for everybody on Clubhouse, we want you to put in your questions too. Ayana Turner says, I do biweekly payments, an additional $400 a month on my mortgage. Ayana, listen, can I, Ayana, can I ask you a question? When you put that money on the debt like that, how much interest are you actually saving in dollars and cents? I already know the answer is we don't know. You must know how much interest you're saving so that you can optimize your interest savings per dollar. Because that $400 a month may not be what you are able to do. That may be too much to put on the debt or too little to put on the debt because of your particular financial makeup. So when you're doing something, and I'll be able to show that in a minute, when you're putting something on the debt, you want to know how much interest am I canceling? How much interest am I canceling per dollar applied? We're going to jump into that. So thank you for that. So here's what else we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. I need you to understand that here's what's going on with the mortgages and other loans. P.I.L.L stands for prepayment of principal. What happens when you prepay? How much interest and how much time are we getting rid of every time we do something? We need to know that because without a baseline, you can't optimize what you can't measure. You can't optimize what you can't measure. You can't. You have to be able to optimize it. Okay? And so, and if you can't measure it, if you don't know what happens when you do something, how can you know how to do something better if you don't know what your results are? When I put $400 on, or when I put $500 on, or maybe I'm not supposed to put any money on this month. Maybe I'm not supposed to put money on, but every 3 months. That could optimize how much interest you're saving per dollar. Oh my goodness, this is going to be good today. All right. And Indentured Rebel says, thank you for answering the questions. No problem. I need questions to be able to do what we're doing. Okay. We need questions so that we can. So, I mean, the questions actually drive the show. You ask the questions, we answer that, and chances are somebody's asking the same question, but just didn't have the courage to put it on the screen or come up to the stage in Clubhouse. Okay. So isolating the principal amount. All right. Then we're looking at leverage. All right. Isolating the principal amount means this: how much money out of my principal should I apply to the debt? Okay. Isolating it, how much and when we should apply it, because that matters. And I'll show you why it matters in a few minutes. And then leverage. Anytime you're talking about leverage, you're talking about what is the least amount of effort that's going to give us maximum output. The least amount of effort that's going to give us maximum output. That's what leverage is all about. So when it comes to getting out of debt and working with money, you want the least amount of money in your financial makeup that's going to kill the maximum amount of interest per dollar at a certain point in time. Okay? How much money do we put on here? What is the least amount I can put on to kill the maximum amount of interest per dollar? I guarantee you, if you put on too much at the wrong time, the amount of interest you can cancel per dollar actually goes down. In fact, let me give you an example. Let's just say when we do the math, you could save $6 in interest for every dollar you place on principal. Let's say you could do that. And by putting more on at the wrong time, let's just say it goes to $5 in interest saved for every dollar. Now, if you're not measuring, if you don't have a way to measure, then you don't know if you're saving $5 for every dollar or $6 for every dollar. And what we provide is a way of measuring so that you can kill the maximum amount of interest in the shortest period of time so that you can get out of debt in an average of 7 to 9 years. That's what leverage is all about. And now we're talking about liquidity. How do we use all of our money, whether it's in the bank, whether it's in our pocket, whether it's on a credit card, whether it's on a line of credit? What is all of our money doing? And how do we put all of this money to use and its best and highest use? Do you know, I know people that have $10,000, $20,000 in the bank, but they have a credit card balance of $7,000 to $10,000. Okay. And they're wondering, how can I pay that off? They're trying to pay it off a little bit at a time when they could just go ahead and take the money out of savings and knock it out. They're saying, well, Don, if I have $10,000 in the bank, I got $10,000 in the bank and I owe $5,000 on my credit card. You want me to take 5,000 of my 10,000 and pay off the credit card and now only have $5,000 left. So folks, let me ask it this way. If I have $10,000 in the bank and I owe $5,000 on the card, I take $5,000 out of the bank, pay off the card to zero. How much money do I have available to spend? You tell me. I took $5,000 out of the bank, paid off my credit card. Now tell me, how much money do I have available to spend since I've taken $5,000 out of the bank? Put your answers in the chat. Okay? Put your answers in the chat. Okay. All right. So Ayana Turner says, if I put an extra $400 a month on a principal, I would save $47,000. No, that's over time. How much interest? I'm saying, Ayana, how much interest would you save with just the one $400 payment? That's what we need to determine. If I pay one $400 prepayment, how much interest am I saving with that one $400? That's what's going to be important to figure out. Okay? Nothing changed. Still the same amount. You're right. I still have $10,000 available to spend, Adventure Rebel. But you see, the thing is, most people feel if I don't have the money in the bank, I don't have the money. They feel all I have now to spend is $5,000. That's all I have left because I put this $5,000 over here. They're not looking at it as all of it's being liquid or fungible. I need you to look up that term, fungible. All right. The term fungible. And let's bring that up so that you guys, well, you can look it up. Look up fungible because I have to take this all down and make some changes. Look up fungible and you'll find out that if it has an equal exchange rate, meaning $1 in my pocket and $1 on my credit card buys $1 worth of stuff. But both amounts of money, my money in my pocket or my money in my bank or my money on my credit card has a cost. Yes. Did you realize that your most expensive money that you have is sitting in your bank? More expensive than your credit card money. We'll be able to show you that in just a minute. Okay? All right. So here is the formula, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the formula that's causing the problem. The formula that causes the problem is this right here. What it's doing, it's making sure that too little of your money is credited to the principal side or the side that pays down the loan. And too much of your money is going towards is being credited towards the interest side. We need to fix that so that more of your money goes to principal and less goes to interest. And we're going to show you the math about that. Okay? That's what we're talking about today. All right? And I let's see. Let me invite her up because I'm interested in her question. All right, Miss Turner, is it possible that you could come to the stage and talk a little bit? Or you could be at work listening in. Nope, nope, she's here. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Talk to us about your question.
Okay, so I just decided I had another mortgage that I had paid off early. That one was many, many moons ago. My very first house. It was not expensive now to me, but then it was. So let me change that. But I was able to pay it off earlier by doing the biweekly payments. So then when we acquired our new mortgage, which is substantially more, I decided I don't want to pay this for 30 years either. So I was playing around. Our mortgage company actually has their own mortgage calculator where you can kind of play around with the figures. That's why I was saying, well, hold on, let me go and look, where you can play around with the figures based off of your particular mortgage. And it stated on there, and this is where my question came in. I was going to ask you when we had a chance. It stated on there that if we paid an additional $400 a month on principal for our mortgage, it would save us that 47 $1,000 plus in interest over the time, and it would decrease our payment time frame, so how long we would have to pay on the loan, by 9 years and 4 months.
Okay.
And then it also has the calculator for the biweekly payments. So with the biweekly payments, it says that we would save a total of 26,000 plus in interest, and it will take off 5 years and 1 month. So my question was, doing both of those particular things, the biweekly plus the additional $400 per month on the loan, do we add both of those time frames up, the 9 years, 4 months, and the 5 years, 1 month together, and that gives us how much time we actually will be saving off the loan?
You could do that. And that would be a pretty good that would be fairly accurate. It wouldn't be exact, but it would be close.
Okay.
Okay. So here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's what we're talking about. What if you could do it a lot easier and pay off in about 7 years? And not just the mortgage, but everything.
I mean, I will be all ears if I can do that.
So tell me. So let me ask you a question about the biweekly payment. Okay. So biweekly payment, you're paying about half the mortgage on the first, and the other half around the 15th. Correct?
Correct.
Can I?
Every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, no matter if it's 4 weeks or 5 weeks in the month.
Exactly. Okay. So let me ask you: when you do that, are you saving any time or any interest with that first payment of the month?
Now that I don't know. I would
Okay.
have to dig into that
All right.
itemized
And
schedule.
now here's what's happening. Mortgage companies only accept full payments, period. Here's what they're doing, and you can ask them. They're holding your first payment until you get the second payment, and then they apply it to the mortgage. So for 10 months out
Yes,
of the
I
year,
do know that.
so for,
It said on there when we signed up, it
yeah,
said that the first payment will be held in a non-interest bearing account until the second payment come in, and then it would make the full payment. Yeah.
exactly. So for 10 months out of the year, A biweekly payment saves you nothing. $0. So when you said it's going to be, you're going to pay every other week, every 2 weeks, whether it's 4 weeks in the month or 5 weeks in the month, right?
Correct.
So every 6 months, you're making three of those half payments, one around the 1st, then the 15th, and the other one around the 30th. The last one is the third one is the one that saves you time and money. The other two don't. So every 6 months you do that and you put in a half payment, two half payments every 6 months equals a full payment. Therefore, here we go. You're going to, it equals 13 payments a year. Does that make sense now?
Yes.
It's the 13th payment that saves you money, not the 10 months where you're just doing the two. And that's how a biweekly payment works. And they're right. When you can do the figuring on your particular mortgage, you're going to save anywhere from 4.9 years to 7 years with a biweekly payment. And then putting the extra down a month increases the amount of interest that's saved. Therefore, it decreases the amount of time you have left. So, working the two together, you will be able to get a better result like you're doing. Or once you find out how a mortgage actually works, you might be able to do something different. Are you able to see my screen today
Yes.
on YouTube? Great. All right. So, I'm going to listen because you came on. I'm going to scrap what I have here. Would you mind if I've put some numbers in an amortization schedule that looks, you don't have to give us exactly what your mortgage looks like, but something like it. And we can kind of take a look at that. Can we do that today?
Yes.
All right, good. So I'm going to let me put on an amortization schedule. All right. And we're going to use Brett Whistle, everybody. BRETWHISSEL. And this is something I use um, as a teaching tool. All right. BrettWhistle.net. I'm going to put the link in the chat so you guys can play around with this later. All right. I'm going to move this screen over here so I can see better. All right. So we're going to put this in. All right. And Indentured Rebel wants to know, do you have a variable rate? But chances are you don't.
No.
Okay. Nope. No variable rate. Okay. And besides, I kind of like a variable rate anyway, and I'll tell you why. All right. And I'll show you why in just a couple of minutes. That is the wrong link. Doggone it. All right. Hold on, everybody. I want to get you the right link. All right. Hold on. All right, I want to get you the right link here. We're going to go to Brett Whistle and copy this link. Sorry, I'm talking and I should be paying attention. There we go. That's it. That's the link for you. And you can use that yourself. And I'm going to put it in the chat for everybody else who wants to know. All right. And please, if you have a question and you can talk, come up to the stage. I would love to take your questions. Okay. All right. So now, give me an approximate amount for a mortgage to start out with, Miss Ayana. Oh, and let me please pronounce your name for me because I want to do it right.
You're right. It's Ayana, Ayana,
Okay.
either one.
Okay,
It's
Ayana. All right. So how much is the mortgage here we're putting in?
okay. So, do you want to know what we started with or where we are now?
No, what you started with.
So the start was 285. No, 289.
Okay. 289.5 or 289 even?
Nope, 289.5.
289.5. Got it. All right. 289.5. What's the interest rate?
3%.
3%. Okay. And there we go. Now, first of all 3% mortgages are 51% mortgages. Did you know that?
No.
Okay, let me show you something here. 3% mortgage. I'm going to scroll down and let me know when it stops moving. You'll be able to see on the screen that on a $289,500 loan, the bank wants $149,894.40 in interest. Okay. This number, the $149,000 that they want, that is not 3% of 289,000 that you borrowed. If you look over to the right, and this is what Indentured Rebel was talking about, the tip, total interest paid as a percentage of principal is 51.777%. All 3% loans are 51% loans. Okay? But guess what, Miss Ayana? Guess what?
Tell me something good. Because I don't like these numbers I'm seeing.
Listen. What we can do here is, because of that, you are now in the driver's seat. Okay? So let me show you something here. On the very first payment, $496, because of that formula that I put up, $496 is the rate of change. So it says how much is going to go towards the principal? $496.79. That pays down the loan. The rest of the money, $723.75, that goes over to the interest side. That does nothing to help you. That helps the bank. Okay? So when this $496.79 goes to principal, you're left with a principal balance of $289,003.21. Are you seeing that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, here's where you're in the driver's seat, because you can see principal and interest. And I'm going to tell you why I use Brett Whistle for this. Good morning, David. I see you out there, my brother. I see you. All right. So here's what we're looking at. I need you, we're going to be focused on cumulative principal and cumulative interest before too long. How much interest and how much principal is being added up over time. Okay? Does that make sense? All right?
Yes.
All right, good. So now I'm going to teach you how to beat an amortization schedule in about 2 minutes. You ready? So
I'm ready.
let's just say the first payment here is in January, and you're all done with your first payment. And we're only talking about the principal and interest. We're leaving out the taxes and insurance. That's why it looks different. Okay. This total payment here is $1,220.54 every single month. All right. And then every month, because of the rate of change, you get a little bit more money that goes to principal and a little less goes to interest, but the payment remains the same. On month 3, $499.28, $721.26, $500 in month 4, $500.53, $720.01. But every single month it comes up to $1,220.54, except the last month. Okay. All right. So that's where we are. Let's just say we made our first payment in January and we're all done. Looking at this schedule, what is the principal payment for February, Ms. Ayana?
The 496.79.
That is the one for January. That's the first payment. What's the next one for February?
498.03.
Exactly. Now, here's my question to you. Do you have to wait till February to give the bank that 498.03?
No.
If you had it, could you give it to them in January on top of your regular
Yes.
payment? And would any interest come out of this money, or would all of this money go to principal? The 498.
I get if you just say you wanted to go straight to principal, then it would go just to the principal, right?
Exactly. So now you're paid down to line 2 in January, aren't you?
Okay, yes.
So your next mortgage payment for February is on what line of this schedule now?
3.
Exactly. So in February, you're going to pay 499.28 and 721.26 in interest in February. It says, well, why are you so excited, Don? Because now I'm getting ready to ask you the good question here. The $722.51 the bank was looking for on line 2, what happened to that? That's the interest payment.
They got it already.
No, they did not. They got this first one, 723.75. And then you did something. You skipped down to line 3. When they were looking to get that in March, you said, oh, now they have to take that in February. You got rid of one whole line on your amortization schedule for only $498.03. You eliminated line 2 altogether. And the $722.51, you canceled it. You never have to pay that. Did you know your mortgage worked like that?
Absolutely did not. I'm like, "Wait, okay, wait a minute.
Come on now.
Okay. Now run that back for us.
One more
Just
time.
run that back." Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we're going to make our first payment here in January. Okay, now it's going to make more sense. I'm going to go over this and then I'm going to give you a little bit of math to do. So you're going to need a calculator. Okay, so make sure we have a calculator handy. All right. So
Okay, I
now,
got one.
all right, good. So now we're going to make this payment. All right. 496.79 goes to principal, and they're charging 723.75 to give them this money. I subtract the 496.79 from what I owe, and I'm left with the principal balance on line 2, correct? I mean, I'm sorry, on line
Yes,
1, on
correct.
line 1, okay?
Yeah.
They take this number, and I'm going to show you the math. They take this number to figure out how much interest I pay on the very next line. They use this number here, the 289,003.21, to figure out how much interest I would owe on line 2, which is 722.51. But you threw a monkey wrench in there, Miss Ayana, by giving them the 498.03 in January as well. So the computer never got to see the 289 here. They only got to see the 288 505.18 on line 2. So they have to do their figuring on this number, which gives them these two numbers here on line 3. That's your new February payment. And you skip right over this 722.51 that you never have to pay. So all of that interest that I showed you in the beginning, 149,894.40 that the bank is looking for, you just reduce that by $722.51. Boom, just like that. What do you think?
Wow. I'm like,
All right, can I can I
I'm
show?
speechless.
I'm going to show you something else. This is why I'm saying putting the $400 on. If we take a look at your total financial makeup, what if you had? What if the right number could be closer to $1,200? Or the right number could be $300. But let me show you something, okay? If we make our payment in January and I take the next 3 principal payments on line 2, line 3, and line 4, okay? That's about $1,500, okay? If I rounded it up, okay? Are you seeing that? What if I gave the bank an extra
Yes.
$1,500 with my first payment? What would happen to the next 3 interest payments?
So then they will calculate it based off of the line, what, 4, I believe?
Exactly. And that would be, and then my next mortgage payment would be on what line of the schedule then? Exactly. So I made a monthly payment on line one. I gave them $1,500 ahead of time so that I don't have to give them. So I just skipped out on over $2,100 worth of interest that I don't have to pay them. So I got the next three principal payments for free. If I do it according to their schedule, they're going to charge me $700 each time to give them money. I do it according to my schedule. I just gave them the $498.03, the $499.28, and the $500.53. I gave that to them early, so I get that principal added to my side for free. I don't have to pay them anything for that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And now I'm on line five. Ooh, that's why I'm saying when we put money on the debt, we actually need to know how much we're saving. Does that make sense?
It does now.
It does now. And do you see why no one is teaching what really goes on behind the scenes? Because if nobody knows, all we're going to do is take the best that we know, biweekly payments and rounding up the payment. We're going to do the best we can with what we know, but nobody is teaching us how this works. I want to point something else out to you. You know who else doesn't know how a mortgage works? The person that sold you the mortgage.
Yep, I was gonna say that because I did ask a lot of questions
Yep.
at that particular time.
And the reason why they weren't being evasive, their companies don't teach them how a mortgage actually works. Your real estate agent does not need to know how a mortgage actually works to get their license. Your accountant doesn't know how a mortgage works. It's not even taught in their classes. And so what we're left with is the same information everybody else is doing. I need you to take a look at a couple of more things with me, and I appreciate you coming to the stage here. Okay. And
Oh, no problem.
make sure you hit me up on my Instagram. Okay.
I will.
If you hit me up on my Instagram and say, Don, send me your book, I'm going to sign a book and mail it to you because you're helping me today.
Oh, thank you, Don.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm not going to do what these infomercials do for just the shipping and handling. No, we're going to pay the shipping and handling and everything.
Oh, no, no late night shipping and handling
No,
fees for 19.99.
none of that. None of that. So I need you to take a look at cumulative principal and cumulative interest for me. Okay.
Okay.
That's column 3 and column 4. Column 3 and column 4. All right. Do you see how it gets added up each month? I'm going to show
Yes.
you how they're coming to these numbers because I promised to show you. Okay. How do they get this interest? You're going to take your 3% interest and put it in a calculator. And folks, I'm going to put this on the screen so you all can see it too. All right. I'm going to put my calculator on the screen, and Miss Ayana is going to use her calculator. So we're going to put it in as a decimal. Your 3% interest rate is going in as a decimal. That's 0.03. Okay. Here is the number that the bank uses. They don't use this number to calculate your interest cost each month. You know what number they use? They divide this number by 12. They take your interest rate and divide it by 12. That's the number they use, 0.0025. Did you know that?
I did not
You
know
know it.
any of this stuff.
You know it today. So if you take the 0.0025 and multiply that by your original starting principal of $289,500, tell me what you get.
Oh, wow.
What? What do you get?
I got the 723.75, the first
What?
interest payment.
That's how they do it. Okay. How about that?
What? Okay.
All right. So now, if you give them any money ahead of time, so like we gave them the, let's say we give them the 498 and the 499 and then the 500. Oh, we gave them ahead of time. That means they can't use any of those numbers to calculate our interest, so they have to use this number here on line 4, the 287,505. So our first interest payment was 723.75. Now we're going to take our calculator again. We're going to take our 0.0025, okay, and multiply it by the principal balance on line 4, the 287,505.37. And now you tell me what you get when you do that.
Okay, I got line 5 of the interest,
What does it say?
718.76.
That's the only thing they can charge you because that's what you owe, and they have to do it that way. How about that?
This is okay. So
Uh-oh. Her
this
mind,
is incredible.
listen, her
Yeah.
mind is working now. Her mind is working now. Come on, what's next?
Okay, so if we take that amount
Mm-hmm.
and instead of doing bi-weekly payments,
Yes.
if we just did our regular monthly payment
Mm-hmm.
and then the following week or the bi-weekly if we wanted to
Yeah.
looked and did extra principal payment,
Yes.
we could look potentially at our itemized schedule
Mm-hmm.
and see exactly what the amount of principal would be, and we can pay those off ahead of time.
Wow. So here is what else is going on here. Okay. I have to wait. All right. When you're using the biweekly payment, you have to wait every 6 months to put that extra half payment on this loan, don't you?
Correct.
And
Yes.
and every 6 months, the amount of interest you could save, you're paying these higher interest costs, aren't you?
Yeah, I see we are now.
Okay. And then you put something on, and then you got to wait another 6 months. Okay. Listen, if you were to get rid of some of these interest payments, which ones would you want to get rid of? The ones towards the beginning or the ones towards the end?
The beginning, yeah, because based off of that, the interest gets lower and lower as
Yes,
you go along.
exactly. So why are they telling you to only put extra money on here every 6 months so they can get all these big interest payments from us? What do you think about that?
This is crazy. That's what I'm thinking. I'm
Miss,
like, because they give you this calculator and
yeah,
it made it, seem as if, now don't get me wrong, yeah, you will save that way,
you will.
obviously, but
Obviously, yes.
you're not able to save the maximum amount.
Yes, you want to save the maximum amount or the optimum amount, not just any old amount.
Correct.
And when we're not taught how it works, any old amount is better than no amount. Correct?
That is correct. You think
Okay.
of savings, you see a coupon for $1 and you're like, yeah, I need to buy that
There you
because I
go.
got a coupon.
I got a coupon. Yes, yes, yes. But you see, listen, if you do the coupon, if you did it the right way, and you said the coupon, then you use the coupon when I'm going to give you 2 for 1 at the store as well. Uh-oh.
When it's on sale.
Come on now.
Exactly.
So that's how we do that. Now I need you to look at cumulative principal and cumulative interest for this mortgage. We're going to go all the way down to line 12. Okay, you looking at that?
Yes.
So cumulative principal, how much principal do we pay down in 1 year?
So cumulative $6,044.14.
How much interest do they want for that in 1 year?
$8,602.32.
Do you think that's too much to pay your loan down by $6,000?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
So let me ask you, if we already know, and if we could add it up easily, and that's why I love Brett Whistle, because they add it up easily. Okay. I know that eventually I got to give them at least $6,000 of the money that I borrowed. I got to give it back. So here's my question. Do I have to pay this $6,044 in 12 monthly installments?
No,
If I had it,
because you can pay it ahead of time by
really?
adding up all of those principal payments.
So you mean if I gave this to them on line 1, I'd be paid down to line 12 in 1 month?
Yeah, and in the first month.
And so what would happen to all these interest payments?
So now they're going to calculate your 13th month of payments based off of the $283,455.86.
You listen, are
So
you a
now all
teacher?
those is gone. I'm not.
You're
I'm a
not.
nurse.
But listen, listen. It doesn't take long to see these numbers, does it?
No, not when you're fooling around with your money. You be paying attention.
So you're right. So when we pay this early, okay, then we get to, all right, now how much money do they want in interest to do this? They want $8,602.34 to pay it down to here, don't they?
Yes.
So the first month, we're going to pay $723.75, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay. And out of that money that we gave them, now we're paid all the way down to here. And so our second payment is based on this number. So we're going to take our 0.0025 and multiply it by the principal balance on line 12, $283,455.86. When you do that,
jumped us down to line 13, the 708.64.
So you got down to here. Plus, now we're going to add up the 708. Use your calculator now. 708.64. 708.64. Okay. And add up the interest cost on line 1 plus 723. 723.75, and I get a total interest cost of $1,432.39 to pay down to here, Miss Ayana, instead of the $9,310.98 they want to give them the same amount of money.
Wow.
Are you glad you showed up today?
I am ecstatic I showed up today.
I need people to know.
Wow.
I need people to know what's really going on behind the scenes, Miss Ayana. And because you came here, and listen, I'm going to absolutely love sending that book out to you.
And I'm so happy. I just like, listening to you on Clubhouse all
Yes.
that, time. And then yesterday when you were speaking and I was like, oh, well, let me see. He said he's going to, do something tomorrow morning. And that's what I end up catching you saying. And I was like, oh, he's going to be on YouTube. And I said, oh, I'm going to, look for it. Well, not YouTube. I thought you was going to just be on Clubhouse. So when I signed on initially, I'm like, well, I can't see what he's talking about. And then I went in the chats and I seen the link and I'm like, oh, he's on YouTube. Okay, so I am happy that I caught it. It was just divine. It was meant to be. It was meant to be because I literally was crunching these numbers
Yes.
just like a week ago, trying to figure this out. And then here you are, literally fell right into my lap,
Hmm.
and nobody else decided to speak, so I was the
There
winner.
you go. You are the winner today. Listen, you get the knowledge, you get the book. Listen, what else you're going to get? We're going to show you some other things. Now, remember when I said something about the interest cost per dollar? The interest cost
Yes,
per
yes. You
dollar.
asked me how much
Mhm.
interest was I saving per dollar,
Per
and
dollar.
I didn't know.
You didn't know because we're not taught to know. You're never supposed to know this. You know that, right?
Yeah, they got to keep us down in the area so they can make their money.
There you go. All right. So let me show you this. So if now this won't be exactly right, but it's going to be close to right. Okay. So if I take the $8,602.34, okay, and divide it by the prepayment of $6,044.14. So if I prepay this, I don't have to pay a whole bunch of interest, correct?
Correct.
So let's take our interest savings, the 8,602.34. Let's take that and divide it by the $6,044.14. And tell me what you get. And give me three numbers after the
I
decimal.
know that's not the dollar.
Yeah. So how much are you
It
saving
is
per dollar?
$1.42.
$1.42. Give me three numbers after the decimal. Four
Four
two
two three
423.
three.
Okay. Yeah. So it is four. So write that down. 1, 4, 2, 3. So $1.42. So for every dollar you give them, it makes it impossible for them to charge you $1.42 in interest. How do you like that?
I
In
like it a lot.
in other words, you give me $1, Miss Ayana. I give you back $1.42. How many times you going to do that?
I'm not. That was it. One and out. I learned my lesson.
No, 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 no. Listen to me. You give me $1, I give you back $1.42 every time you give me a
No,
dollar.
I would do it, but they are not going to want to do it.
I,
So that's why
I,
they're not telling us, I guess.
exactly, because that means it's the same thing. They have to. You make it impossible for them to charge you $1.42 every time you give them an extra dollar. Now your dollars look a lot more valuable, don't they?
Yes.
Ah, that's 140% return on your money.
Yeah, you're right.
How
You're
about
right.
that? Where else are you going to get that kind of interest?
Wow.
Okay, so now let's take a look at this. Now, if you had a choice between line 12, let's say you have plenty of money in the bank, you could prepay line 12 or you can prepay line 24, okay, and save the 17,000. So if you have plenty of money in the bank, which one would you choose?
Line 24
Okay, let's do the math.
to 12,272.
Okay, so let's do the math. We're going to put the $17,020.85 in your calculator and divide it by the 12,272.11 and see what we get per dollar.
1.386.
What? We're saving less per dollar?
Yeah, why is that?
Because the amount of interest that you could save keeps going down every single month. So when you go past a certain point, you can't save more per dollar. It starts to go back the other way. That's why I was saying you may be putting on too much, you may be putting on too little. You want to put on the right amount to the penny so that you can maximize your interest savings per dollar. Does it make sense now?
Yes. So how do you figure out? I'm sorry, y'all, I'm at work. How
Okay.
do you figure out what the perfect amount is?
I
You
don't.
just keep playing around. Oh,
I don't figure it out. I have we have an opportunity cost calculator, an a an AI powered online computing system that does all the math for us. It tells us how much money to move, what month to move it in, what day of the month to move it on to maximize your interest savings per dollar each and every time. And you're not putting money on
Oh,
every month, only at strategic times during the year.
okay. So
Yes.
where do we find this calculator?
All right. Let me put that on the screen for you so you can see. Okay. All right. All
Yes.
right. So now you want to take a look at my, oh, I didn't put my link at the top. All right. I'm going to put that up there right now. All right. Pin link, ice10k.com. Ice, the number 10, the letter K.com. There we go. All right. That's the link. And when you have opportunity, go to ice10k.com and then click the link. There's a link going to be there that says get a savings and earnings report. You can know the month, day, and year you could be debt free and how much interest you're going to save by filling this information out. And we're going to give it to you for free. We're going to give you the report for free. And then if you want to know more about that, you can say, well, Don, how do I implement this? Then you may want to do business with us after you see what your results are. Okay? All right. So let me show you what the calculator looks like. Let me get this up on the screen. New window. And we're going to get that
And
up.
I was with you. I just went on over and signed up already.
I know. I know. I know what you were doing. All right. So here is what the calculator looks like. And we're going to answer some questions about that. Okay. So I appreciate you so very much today. All right. So here's what the opportunity cost calculator looks like. All right. This is John and Rebecca Jones, and we're going to reset their account. And I'm going to show you what's going on with them and how easy it is to save money. And um, um, and when you're saving money on interest, you're using your current budget in a certain way so that you don't need to make more money. We're just going to show you how to pay less interest. Are you ready? Okay. So this is what it looks like on the screen. If I go to the accounts, okay, I see that John and Rebecca Jones have $500 in their checking account. They have $5,000 in their savings account. They owe $25,000 on their car at 4%. They have $2,000 on the Visa at 21%. And they have a $200,000 mortgage at a whopping 6%. Okay? There we go. That's $227,000. And even before John and Rebecca Jones can do anything at all, the program has already calculated their interest savings. $179,790. They'll be able to pay off everything in 7.7 years, and they'll still be able to live well while they're doing it. What do you think, Miss Ayana?
That looks amazing.
All right, so let me give you an idea of what's going on here. We're going to go to what we call the action plan. All right, and in the action plan, all we're doing is tracking how much money we're making and how much money we're spending. All right, we're going to start in the month of August. And if we keep scrolling down, we can see August, September, and October. We can always see 3 months at one time. So John gets paid, all right, $950, and he just tells the program, I got paid by clicking on here, telling the program, I got paid. So now that he has eliminated that from the action plan because it's already done. And if you check his bank account at the bank and the account in the program, the virtual account has $1,450 in it. His account at the bank has the exact same amount, $1,450. Okay. So we want the program to mirror what he has in the bank. And all John has to do is tell the program what he's doing, and we do the math. So now they have enough money in the checking account to pay the mortgage. So the mortgage is $1,199.10. They pay the mortgage. That money is subtracted from their real bank account. We must also subtract it from our virtual bank account by telling the program we paid our mortgage. So the mortgage is now paid. And every time we do that, we just tell the program, all right? And now we have paid the utilities for $200 and Rebecca gets a paycheck. But now we start to see these little arrows in the middle of the screen. That is the program telling us, you know what? You have, based on your spending, based on the rest of your bills, in your checking account, you have $100.90 you don't need for anything else. So the program is saying, put that in your savings account. Are you seeing that, Ayana?
Yes,
All right.
I'm
All
following.
right. Floyd Brown says, how do we sign up for the service? Go to ice10k.com. It's scrolling across the screen, Floyd. Go to ice10k.com and click on get a savings and earnings report. All right. I'm going to actually put the savings and earnings report on the screen after I finish this demonstration. But go to ice10k.com so that you can get a free savings and earnings report. You click on that link and it'll be there. Okay. So now we're putting $100 in savings. All right. And then we pay the phone bill. Rebecca gets another paycheck. Oh, and now it says, now you have $589.49. I mean, to the penny. You have that in your checking account. You don't need it to pay any of the rest of the bills. But Don, how are John and Rebecca Jones having fun? Well, they have an unitemized budget of $1,300 that they can spend. Part of that is that they can spend any way they want just to have some fun. And they're still going to be able to get out of debt in 7.7 years every single month. This unitemized budget comes up every month in August, September, October, and beyond. They know how much money they can spend on themselves and still get out of debt in 7.7 years. Okay. So now we made the minimum payment on the mortgage. We are going to also make the minimum payment on the Visa. When's the last time you made a minimum payment on the Visa? All right. We're also going to make the minimum payment on the auto loan. That's it. But we're putting money in savings. So what are we waiting for? We're waiting for the optimum time and the optimum amount of money so we can save what, Miss Ayana?
I guess to save the money.
To save that interest. Do we want to save the some interest or we want to save the most per dollar?
Definitely the most per dollar.
And that's what is going on. So the program is doing the calculation in the background of all the daily interest involved and how much money you're going to have. And it says, oh, based on that, in 9/16 is the day you're going to put 2,500. Look in the upper left-hand corner. You're going to put $2,568 on your debt on September 16th because that's the day and that's the amount of money. And when we get down to, let me just scroll down to the 16th, and I need you to let me know when it stops moving on your screen because there's always a delay because of the internet. All right. And I need you to point out to me, we're going to take money. Are you seeing this? We're going to take money from which account? Let me know when you see it.
Okay, the savings account.
And we're going to put it where?
So are we putting that onto that mortgage payment?
Well, right now we're going to put that on the Visa
Oh,
and pay the Visa to zero because it's sitting in the savings account. And when we do that, we're actually going to save. Now it's slower on your end, but so I'll tell you, we're going to save $1,844 in interest by paying off the Visa this way. That's interest we'll never pay because we did that. Isn't it nice to know when you do something, you get an instant result and it tells you, what am I getting for my money? Okay. It makes it easier to do.
Yes.
Okay.
So when do we pay that mortgage payment that was at the top on
Come
9/16?
on. There she goes. Now, after we put that money on the Visa, now I need to wait till it stops moving again. We're going to take the rest of that money and put it on the mortgage. Okay.
Okay.
And we're going to, our regular mortgage payment is on the first of the month. So the program says this, so you need to wait 15 days before you put another amount straight to principal on the mortgage. And how much are we putting on the mortgage?
The 546, I think that's
Mm-hmm.
87.
Yep, 546.87. Did you know John and Rebecca Jones have over $5,000 in savings by now? But the program says only take $5,046.87 to put on the mortgage at this point. Why is when they have so much money in the bank, why is the program stopping at this number?
Oh, is it because of that cumulative principle that we seen before? If they paid too much ahead, they wouldn't get the maximum amount.
There you go. They would not get the maximum amount of interest savings per dollar. So listen, let me break this down to you another way, okay? And it'll make more sense. Because most people say, well, just throw it all there and just be done. I have a client here in Huntsville, Alabama. That's where I'm from. That's where I am right now, Huntsville. And he's an engineer. And he started our program a few years ago, and now he's making more money. Okay. And as he's making more money, guess what? He put that into the program. And the more money he puts into the program is going to adjust how quickly he can pay off his mortgage. So now he has $263,000 left on his mortgage. And because he's making all this money now, he can pay off his mortgage in 3.5 years, the program says. And he's only going to pay $16,000 in interest. Okay. He was very, very happy until I told him, you're paying off the mortgage too fast and you're not paying enough interest. He says, what are you talking about? What do you mean? I said, well, why don't you, because you're making a lot more money, just tell the program now. Okay. We're going to tell the program, we're going to go into budget, tell the program that you're making $2,000 a month less. When we told the program he's making $2,000 a month less, the program came back with new figures up top. Now he's not going to be out of debt in 3.5 years. He's going to be out of debt in 6.5 years. And he's not going to pay $16,000 in interest. He's going to pay $20,000 in interest. And he says, why is that better, Don? I mean, why would you want me to do that? I says, well, it sounds like you want to get out of debt in 3.5 years. He says, yeah. I said, well, what would you have to do to get out of debt in 3.5 years? He says, I need to put that $2,000 a month back in for 3.5 years, right? He says, yes. 3.5 years, that's 36 months plus 6 months. That's 42 months altogether, isn't it, Miss Ayana?
Yes, because I'm with him. I'm trying to follow.
Okay, 42,000. That's 42 months times $2,000 a month comes to, doesn't that come to $84,000?
Yes.
So now he has to put $84,000 into debt reduction so he can go from
I see
$20,000
where you going. I
down
got
to
it.
16,000. He's putting 84 grand in here just to save $4,000.
Yep, I got you. So he could have potentially, well, with this change,
Come on.
he will have the ability to have more money in his savings
And and put
for
it
a
towards
greater return.
and put it yes, put it into some sort of investment to get a better return than $4,000 in savings, right?
Yep.
Come on, girlfriend. That's what I'm talking about. That's you. That's for you. That's for you, Miss A.
This is just a wealth of information and amazing to think about, because for the typical person,
Yes.
you will not look at it like that, because when you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, pay it off in 3.5 years. Yeah, I want to pay it off and be done with it.
Yes.
But not realizing he's throwing out the maximum amount of money.
Yes.
Yes, he will be out of debt quicker, but he also wouldn't have that reserve money that he could have been making more money on if he just stretched out his debt a little bit longer.
Come on, nurse. Come on, nurse. You've got it. You've got it. Okay. Listen. So instead, you know what he did instead? He got a HELOC because he had paid so much on his other house, and he had a ton of equity. So he got a home equity line of credit, took money out of the house, and put a down payment on and built a brand new house. $700,000 house. Okay. And then guess what happened? It was actually during COVID time, and there was some delays because of not being able to get materials. So by the time his $700,000 house was done, the house next door to his, which was similar, sold for $900,000.
So he already had $200,000 in equity in that new
Exactly.
house.
And he put a renter in the other house. So now both houses are going to be paid off in about 10 years.
You've made him a wealthy man.
Listen, every time he sees me, he reminds me. Oh my gosh. Listen, Carolyn Pratt here says, I have an appointment. Hopefully I can catch the replay. Yes, you can. You can catch the replay, Carolyn. Carolyn says, my interest is 2% fixed. Citibank sold the loan. They always sell the loans. Okay. Each year they increase the mortgage payments. Oh, they're increasing the mortgage payments due to taxes and insurance, not because they're changing the parameters of the loan. That's what's going on with that. Okay. So that's what she says. So, Carolyn, I hope you can hear the replay on that, on your question and comment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been here an hour and a half. So if we did the student loans and the mortgages the same way, if we attack these loans with whatever we have left over, now you tell me, Miss Ayana, if I'm telling you after all the bills have been paid and you have in your budget money earmarked just for some fun, okay? And you're putting money away in savings. And every 2 or 3 months, the program says take money out of savings to and apply it to this particular loan on this particular day. Does it feel like a sacrifice if I'm taking that money out of savings?
No, because it was already money that was just sitting there.
Exactly. So I'm not reducing. So because if I put my $400 on my mortgage every month and I make that a priority, what happens in the months where I have higher expenses than usual? Now I'm going to start thinking about that $400 a month, and I may not do it at all. Is that a possibility?
That's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so instead of having a dynamic, so you could have a dynamic program that says based on what is actually going on in your life today, when life starts happening to you, the program will adjust just like financial GPS and say, do this instead so you don't feel the stress.
I need to sign up today. That's I need to sign up today. I mean, because I'm a cruncher, so I will
Yes.
sit down and I will sit and I write out every single bill,
Mhm.
when it comes out, how much is it every month, what's the interest amount on it, and I'll try and figure out, okay, do I, pay more on this one, pay less on this one, which one do I pay off, and the mortgage, I definitely don't want to keep paying on the car note. So I will sit and crunch these numbers, but again, I am not a mathematician. So
Mhm.
I
Well,
know that I probably aren't doing it, to the best way. I just tried to do it the best that I knew of. But
right.
this system here,
Mhm.
pinpointing where your dollars should go every single time and already doing that pre-calculating, that just saves me time and mental in itself because I don't have to sit and try and do that.
Yes.
So now I have a question. When it
Yes.
has down at the bottom, it
Yeah.
was I think it was the cumulative money that you can like kind of like play money that it
Right.
had down here.
Right here.
So where does it factor in that? Do they plug that in? Do they say like, okay, this is how much I want to be able to kind of play around with,
Right.
or do the
No, no, no.
system do it?
No. Listen, everybody else, like the guy in Tennessee, Dave Ramsey, he'll tell you what, listen, they'll tell you how much you should be able to spend on stuff like that. We don't. You tell us, and based on that, then on the math, then the program goes to work and says, based on the fact that you want to spend this much per month, then you can do this. Or you can change it. Remember, you have 7.7 years now to get out of debt and save 179,000. What if you decided to take a look at this and said, we put $1,300 in here, but try as we might, we're only spending about 1,000. So let the program recalculate here, and we're going to change this to $1,000 a month instead of 1,300. Okay, I'm changing that, and so we go from let's take a look at it. We go from 7.7 years for 300 extra dollars a month that we're not spending on fun. We can now get out of debt in 6.9. I know that instantly. What do you think?
What? Wait a minute.
You have that much more control over your finances. And I'll tell you in a few seconds, instead of you pulling out all your spreadsheets, pulling out your hair all night to come up with maybe an answer, but it will not be this. It won't be optimized.
Oh boy. Okay.
And we
So
and we will guarantee this for life. The program will always work and give you the optimum thing to do. Nothing on the planet beats this. Nothing.
so now is there a particular assistant that works with you with the program?
Oh, you mean if you see over here to the right, it's a little behind. I'm clicking on the headset that says "Get Support." Okay, when you click that
Okay,
when
yes.
you click that headset, we're open between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Okay, that is 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Are you Eastern Time?
I am upstate New York.
Upstate New York. Okay. All right. So we got 8, that'd be 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern time. And here's the number: 877-676-5638. That is our support number. You call and somebody answers to answer your question. Not leave a message and we'll call you back. You call, somebody answers that phone. Not only that,
Okay, so
oh, well, I'm not done.
okay.
You also get a coach, a financial coach that is designated just for you, and you talk to that coach every other week or so to put together a game plan or a strategy just for you and your family. And the coach can answer all these questions as to why is it that we're doing this instead of that? and show you the numbers and says, well, we wanted to buy a new car. What's the best way to do that? We'll show you the numbers. We were thinking about putting a down payment down on something. Yeah, it's probably not a good idea. We're going to show you the numbers. And so you're going to have a coach that's actually going to show you the fine points of this and how to get the most out of it, along with customer service, being able to call them to ask simple questions.
Okay. So now I noticed, like for John and Rebecca, I'm assuming because the way theirs is set up, it
Mm-hmm.
has both of theirs on. See, John's bi-weekly, Rebecca
Yep.
being weekly.
Right.
So now, is there also the ability to add things like rental income or any other passive income that you may have
You mean
to
like this when I click edit and I can click add income and I can put in rental income. And how much rental income am I putting in? Give me a number.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so if you put in 4,200.
42. Oh boy. Yeah, that's too much. But you and your coach are going to have to do some work on this because we put 4,200 in. That's too much to put towards debt reduction. I can tell that already because I've done this plenty of times. But we're going to add that to the mix, okay? And when we put that in, now we're out of debt in 2.8 years.
And you already told them 3 years was too quick.
Yeah. Listen. We're going to take some of that money and put it into more investing and invest in more doors instead of putting it into debt
Okay.
reduction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you want to
Okay.
know, what that critical point is. And we can help you to find that. This much goes to debt reduction. This much goes to investing in other properties.
That is what I like. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what I can actually see how much interest I have remaining. Oh yeah, $20,000 in interest remaining. That's just too little. Okay, that means I got too much going to debt reduction when the the opportunity cost is too high to have all that money going to debt reduction because there's not enough interest left to save. So I've got to put that money where it can make more money. All right. So we can do both at the same time. Save money over here, make money over here. All right.
That's good. I like that.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I'm going to put this on the screen. We're getting ready to get out of here. All right. And somebody asked, what do we have to do? I'm putting it on the screen right now, ice10k.com. And three things you can do today. Three things you could do today. Right now, I have four short videos. You can see one of them is E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher paid off his mortgage using the program. And we have a testimony from him we're going to hear at the end. Okay. Um, he is the number one motivational speaker in the world that used the P.I.L.L method for his mortgage. And we're going to scroll down past his picture to the button that says get a savings and earnings report. When you click that button, then you'll read this. Don't waste another dollar paying off the wrong debt. Get your free savings report. Fill out step 1, and then we'll let you into step 2 where you put in your financials. Then once your financials are put in, my staff will give you a call and we'll give you a call to verify that information. And once it's verified, we will produce a savings and earnings report for you. It's a 2-page document. Okay. Once you get those results, you may say, you know what? I like these results. I'd like to get these results for my family. And then we could talk about you becoming part of the P.I.L.L method family so that we can guarantee those results for you. And our consultation fee is only $150 for an hour. And that consultation fee is guaranteed. If you feel you did not get $150 worth of information during that consultation, let us know before the Zoom call ends. We'll push the button and send it right back. Everything we do here is guaranteed. It either works or it doesn't work. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, give you your money back in writing. Okay. And if you want to check that out, go to Better Business Bureau, check out Pill Method. We have an A+ rating. And in 18 years, absolutely zero complaints. Boom. We love taking care of clients. So that's number one. Get your savings and earnings report. All right. Now, the next thing, some people have learned a lot of information today and they want to share this with others. All right. If you want to do that, I need you to scroll down so that you can see. Let me fix this so you can see it. All right. There it is. Become an affiliate. What does that mean? You can become an affiliate and share the Pill Method message with other people, and you don't have to sell a thing. Just point them to the YouTube channel. Watch these YouTube videos. Call them back in a couple of days. If they're interested, if they want more information, then you just say, listen, let me go back to this 10K card, scroll down past Don's picture here. All right. And then on the left side, I can click on refer a friend. Click on refer a friend and send that in. Okay. All right. Once I click on refer a friend, then I can put their name in, their phone number, their email, their zip code. I need the zip code because I need to know, we need to know what time we can call them. Okay. The zip code will give us their time zone. All right. And who referred them. And that would be you. You would put your number and your name in here. And then give us a little bit of information. When they become a client, we'll pay you. And we have, it is possible to make anywhere from $300 to $3,000 a month or more just by becoming an affiliate, not selling anything, but just showing people these videos, let them make up their own mind, and they tell you, I want more information, and you fill this in and send it in. No selling on your part. We do everything. All right. The last thing. All right. So we talked about how to get a savings and earnings report. Okay. Which is very important and it's free. Get your savings and earnings report. Then we talked about how to become an affiliate. Do that. All right. And you can become an affiliate for free. Put your name, your phone number, your email in and tell us how you want to get paid. Boom. Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, PayPal. All right. It takes about 15 seconds and it's free. Sign up to become an affiliate. All right. Share the Pill Method message with others. Don't sell anything. Just point them to the YouTube channel. Find out 2 days later if they want more information and then fill out refer a friend. Boom. You're done. We take it from there. And the last thing, ladies and gentlemen, is this. This is the book Ayana is she's going to click on my profile, get my Instagram. She's going to DM me her address. Okay. And I'm going to send her my book. Okay. There you go.
I already DM'd you, so now let me go back over there and put the address in there.
So I'm going to send her this book. All right. And it is the only book on Amazon, that talks about what we're talking about today out of 33 million titles. Okay. And if I scroll down, all right, let me see where it's ranked today. Sometimes we sell a lot of books and sometimes we don't. But yeah, out of 3 million titles, we've dropped down to 76. All right. But my Kindle is back up to number 10. Number 10 on Amazon. Okay. So when it gets back to number 1, and it won't be long before it's back to number 1, it will be the 7th time this has been a number 1 bestseller on Amazon. So the Kindle is number 10 today. And let me see where the paperback is. Yeah, the paperback may be in the 70s. Yeah, it's in the 70s somewhere. But anyway, out of 33 million titles, I think that's pretty doggone good, don't you? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Ayana, thank you so very much. You made our day. You made our day today. It was because of you.
It was an absolute pleasure.
A lot of people learned a lot of stuff. I got to go in a completely different direction, but with your help, a lot of other people got helped. We appreciate you. Okay,
My
so
pleasure, and I am willing to come on again. I have tons of questions that I'm sure I can pull out my hat. I am willing to help out because I know sometimes people don't want to, ask the questions, and sometimes, they're a little reserved about it. But this is one of my passions. I don't like debt, and I love to get out of debt. So I'm right on board, and I'm willing to help anytime. Invite me on, and I'm here for you.
well, listen, you have carte blanche. Come back anytime. We're going to be back here on Sunday, but not in this room. On Sundays, we're in Mortgage Syndicate from 8:30 Central for about 2 hours. All right. So on Sundays, and then
What's 8:30 Central Eastern Standard Time?
that's
That's
9:30.
9 o'clock.
9:30.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
9:30.
in church at 9:30 on
That's
Sunday. Now I can't,
that's
I
okay.
can't do the church hours.
That's okay. So what you can do is you can catch the replay. All right. Because yeah, I go to church on Saturdays. So that's why I'm doing it on Sunday. All right. But we're on Wednesdays and Fridays. On Wednesdays and Fridays, we are here at 8 a.m. Eastern time for live shows. And when we're not live, we put up a replay on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So we're always here, whether it's live or it's a replay, but you're always going to be able to get good information on that. Okay. So that's what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. Let me put the book up here. Boom. The Pill Method book. Get the book, become an affiliate, and get your savings and earnings report. Folks, thank you so very much for being here today. I hope you got good information. And don't forget, go to ice10k.com. Everything is there. Click the link above my head. And let me also, and it's scrolling across the screen here for you guys to see who are online. Thank you very much for being here. We're going to hear from Dr. Eric Thomas right about now. And then we're going to do, our theme music, and we'll be done for today. Okay. So let's bring up Dr. Eric Thomas. Let's see what he has to say about the pill method. Okay. See you guys. And then, Ayana, I can't thank you enough. I cannot thank you enough for being here and helping us out today. I can't wait to send the book out to you. All right. All right, here we go, folks.
No problem. I'm available on Wednesday and Friday. Just to let you know, I'll try and tap in. I will be working, but I should be able to tap in at that time, and I do plan on signing up. So I'll be available to give my insight on the program.
There you go. Tap in, tap in. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. All right. All right, doctor. Talk to us.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down from my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Oh, wait a minute. We can't end the show yet. I forgot something that's very valuable. On Thursday nights, I'm actually on with an online church called Living Manna, and we're presenting Money Answers All Things, Bridging Faith and Finance Through Stewardship. We just did our third installment last night. We have 5 more Thursdays to go. So find Living Manna Ministries in on YouTube and on Facebook so that you can join us Thursday nights starting at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Mountain, and 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. Don't miss out on that. I forgot to put that. I'm not put it up at the end of the show. Okay, so that's Thursdays. All right, and we have 5 sessions left to go. And you can check on the the replays that we have up already. Okay. Thank you, everybody. All right. Now we can end the show. I'm so sorry. I was supposed to put that up and I forgot. I got so excited. All right, here we go.